Hi there, it's the Dutchums for Master and welcome to this brand new The Sims 4 speed build. So today I'm building something very interesting. It's not super big, however it is something that I've not done before. I've seen other people do it, however that was mainly like thumbnails of videos I saw, but not necessarily the video itself. So this was mainly inspired by like my own idea of a super cool modern treehouse, and I must say that I've had to redo it a couple of times. Here you see one of the initial plans I had, but then later on I realized that it wasn't exactly what I wanted to achieve with this build, because like I already mentioned, and as you've probably noticed if you're watching the video right now, this is a treehouse. I'm not too sure what I should name this yet. Often that's something I come up with after I do the commentary. But yeah, I would like to ask for suggestions, but that wouldn't really work because it should be in the video. So you know more than I do right now because you do know the name of this house. I personally don't, but it will probably be something like treehouse or forest, jungle, whatever, something like that. And maybe I'm being creative and it's not something like that, but we're gonna figure it out, I guess. So as you can see, it's like built on a platform on pillars, and I'm not starting with the structure of the pillars yet. I just wanted to create a platform first, create the build, and then later on create the structure under it. Of course, in real life this wouldn't be like the number or the way it would go with this what would you say that? This order? Yeah, order is exactly the word I was looking for. But yeah, at least in The Sims it works, so that's always fun. You don't have to think structurally if it's working out. You've just got to build something that looks cool. And to get that started, you first do have to add a couple of pillars just to reach that height. And as you can see, I've done something else that's totally impossible in real life, and that's creating a hanging swimming pool, which will be... yeah, it will actually have a structure under it, so basically it could work, I guess, but in real life this is something you would never see, but therefore I thought it was actually extra cool to add it in this build. So a hanging swimming pool in a treehouse, and the treehouse itself is not actually a house, it's just sort of like a hut. Actually, it's super small and very open. As you can see, these are basically all the walls that I've created. I'm changing some of them, but this is sort of the structure of the building, meaning that actually you only have the bedroom indoors, which I can imagine, you know, you want to sleep inside. You've got monkeys like outdoors and you want to be able to close it a little bit, but also be able to open it just to get some fresh air in, maybe also, yeah, you know, get the wind flowing just to cool it down a little bit. So I imagine only the bedroom to be inside and the bathroom to be in sort of a private area but still outside, because I went to Bali last year, and there I was looking for like houses to go to, and you see that every house actually has like an outdoor bathroom, and one I in the end decided to go to indeed had a bathroom outside as well. And it's actually super convenient because it's not only convenient, well, is it convenient? Yes, it is convenient, but not necessarily way more convenient than having an indoor bathroom, but it is way cooler because I was showering and looking up, I saw like full moon and also super many stars, so that's just something you don't have when you're showering in like a boring indoor bedroom or bathroom. Normally, yeah, you shower in the bathroom, you know. So yeah, that's sort of what this was inspired by, you know. Bali is jungle. Yeah, it's like does have a lot of jungle, so I thought, you know, it would fit to have that as a source of inspiration. And also the kitchen is outside, because, you know, cooking, you always get hot when you're doing it, so, you know, you want to do it outside with some fresh air, even though inside with an air conditioner would be way better maybe. But yeah, that's not the core of this build. This is like a super minimalistic, simple build for yeah, certain type of people who would like to live there. Personally, I don't think this would be the place to live in for me, because I would prefer to, you know, be inside a little bit more, and, you know, you've got beasts all around, or at least, you know, monkeys, and you've got to fight for your banana. So yeah, that doesn't, you know, yeah, maybe let me know, would you like to live in a place like this, you know, for a holiday? This would be like super fun to go to. And actually that's another like reference to Bali. There I went to, you know, on Airbnb you've got super many awesome places to stay there, which aren't even like super expensive. Also because this one I'm talking about was like literally a hut in the rice fields. and it was just a bed. Literally, it was, well, actually 2 beds, and like an outdoor bathroom, again outdoors, and then, you know, with like just leaves as like a roof cover, or dried leaves, I mean. And then in the middle of the rice field, and in the morning, they would see if you woke up, and they would come to bring you the breakfast. Yeah, it was just a crazy experience. It's actually like sort of a famous Airbnb. Very many people have actually shared it, and like influencers go there as well. So it's sort of a well-known one, and yeah, that was sort of a cool experience, but I only stayed there for 1 night, and that was like no problem, and I would be able to stay there for a couple of days. But after those days, I would sort of miss the luxury of, you know, being able to go into like a cooled area with air conditioner, especially if you're like living in a hot climate like the jungle. But generally it's sort of cool. But let me know in the comments what you think. Would you like to live in a hut like this, and how long? And maybe do you live in a hut? I can imagine, you know, it's always strange for me to realize, but there's people from all over the world and from all kinds of different cultures watching these videos, and sometimes I try to imagine what people watch my video like, because personally often when I watch YouTube videos I do something else in the meantime, and that's like literally my way of watching YouTube. But I think everyone has got his own sort of habit of watching videos, so maybe that's another cool thing to talk about as well. Or let me know what is your like, yeah, rhythm, or not rhythm, but your yeah, I can't come up with the name right now. Yeah, but just the way you know, you watch the videos. Are you cooking in the meantime, or are you always in bed when you're watching the videos, or when you just wake up? Just let me know. Sort of a cool experiment to see what or when people watch the videos. And I must say, I think while building this, I realized that this like this new game pack for The Sims 4, which is the Jungle Adventures game pack, in case you didn't know yet. This is like super important for this build. If you don't have that one, this might get hard because you don't have that jungle environment otherwise, but and that's sort of essential for making this build look cool. If you want to download it into your own game. But I personally think that Jungle Adventures is seriously like the coolest game pack we've got for The Sims 4 so far, because you get super many different kinds of objects, and objects which you can use for different purposes. For instance, those windows with which are basically stones, but they are in the category windows because they're opening in the walls, which I've added sort of as shutters in this house. They're super cool. For instance, also the barbecue, which I'm currently adding, super fun. And also these lounge chairs. They're just, for some reason, the vibe and the colors and everything of this of the items coming with this pack is super good. And therefore this is seriously, I think personally, my favorite game pack. I'm not too sure how many we've got so far. I believe we've got 5 game packs. And there's another expansion pack. Well, of course there's an expansion pack coming up, because there always is an expansion pack coming up. And honestly, I don't know that much more about it, but I do know when it is being announced. And that is during EA Play, or, well, wait a second. I'm not entirely sure yet, but and I literally don't have any more knowledge than you do at this moment. The Sims will be on EA Play, which is sort of like a big gaming event in Los Angeles in June. And The Sims will be there and playable, and they will be announcing something new. So probably it's like sort of a big expansion pack, I guess, because I don't know what it would be otherwise. But I'm super pumped for it and looking forward to find out more about that. But so far, I'm generally just also really happy that we've got Jungle Adventures, because this is, you know, also those plants I'm adding everywhere around the build, they just make this jungle treehouse hut look way more realistic than than it would have looked without all those like jungle plants and stuff. And one advantage of building a hut like this one was that I didn't have to spend hours creating the interior, which I was very happy with. So that saved me quite some time, because currently I'm sort of busy, which is also the reason that I'm uploading sort of on an irregular basis, not necessarily way less than I normally did like last half a year, but just not really regularly. I try to upload like a speed build in the weekend, but in this weekend it was Easter, so yeah, it just went differently than it normally did. And today in Holland, I'm not too sure if that's a thing abroad as well, but we've got like a second Easter day, which is basically just a day to justify that we want an extra free day, I believe, and a day that everyone goes to, like, well, not necessarily shopping malls, but you know, shopping malls where you can buy like furniture. That's like a typical thing to do. And I just went to the gym and I found out that also second Easter day in the Netherlands is one of the days that everyone is going to the gym. It was so crazy busy that it was like seriously annoying. But hey, I literally came in and I was like, am I gonna turn around and just leave? Because it was so busy. I think like with the equipment and, you know, the weights you've got, I think there was just as many people as there's equipment and weights, which is normally not really the ratio it is in, because you want to decide yourself when you want to do what, like muscle and training, you know. But yeah, that's just a tip for myself for next year. Don't go to the gym on second Easter day. But I believe second Easter day is not something other people in other countries have. I do know that Boxing Day, for instance, is the second Christmas day in, for instance, the US and also England, I believe, and probably like very many other countries as well. But I'm not too sure about Easter, so let me know what are the Easter traditions, and also what is like the way it is going in other countries. Do you have a second Easter day, or is it maybe like, because I believe it doesn't have like a religious background, like it's, you know, Easter is on the first day, that's the day it happened, and then, you know, the second day was just decided to create later on, I believe. But honestly, this is not something I know super much about, so I guess I'll stop talking about it and listen to you in the comments. By the way, this is something I wanted to mention, and that was the structure I created under the hut. When I came up with that idea, I've built it like a couple of minutes ago. But when I came up with that idea, I was super happy, because for some reason I felt like creating a hut always was sort of weird, because you've got like a huge structure on top, and then down there you've under it you've got some like super tiny pillars, which look sort of unrealistic, and then many plants. But adding that structure of like the shutters made out of wood under it, which would in real life not really have any constructural value, I guess, but it does make it look more realistic and more balanced, sort of, because generally that was one of the reasons I often decided not to create a tree house, is because it looks super unbalanced, and sort of weird, being built on pillars in the trees, and then, you know, you've, yeah, like I said, a huge structure in the trees. But I think with this one it sort of worked out well. So like I said, you can download it from the gallery if you want to. You've got to look for gallery ID Dutch Sims Master, and then you should be able to find it just fine, which is fun, I guess, in case you want to change anything, or you just want to use this one to play around with. Also, I added a fireplace in a treehouse, which isn't necessarily the smartest idea, I guess, but that's the cool thing about The Sims. You can just do whatever you want, but adding it, I always know that, yeah, or at least often I add fireplaces in like super unrealistic places, but you know, they just look cool and they're a fun way to sort of fill up the space. And generally, I think this area, you know, just where the entrance is, and then with the bar and the built-in hot tub, which I'm actually making a video about, that built-up hot tub, which is part of a new tutorial series which I'm starting. And in case you're watching all the way until here, then this is just a little sneak peek for those of you who've managed to watch so far into the video, even though this wasn't necessarily a super long video. But I'm starting a tutorial series in which I'm just doing super quick, like, tutorials, which show you new things, just building tricks which you might not know about, and not super long 10-minute tutorials, just super quick. Might actually call it like the 2-minute tutorial series, something like that. And then every week, or every time I upload the video, I cover just a simple trick which should make building easier for you. And I'm super excited to get it started, because I think it's something that people will like, but also a series which I will be able to just continue doing, simply because it is like not necessarily super hard to create a 2-minute video. I do have to come up with enough ideas and tutorial ideas, but so far I've made a list and I think I should have quite a couple of episodes ready. So that's fun. That's just a little sneak peek for all of you. But then now we're going over into the overview. So please let me know what you thought of this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and also don't forget to leave a like. So thank you for watching and I hope to see you back later.